Hello everybody, Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike here, and I am back with another edition of Front Row, these music performance reaction videos, and I am back in the wonderful world of Elvis Presley with a early 60s movie music performance of Home Is Where the Heart Is. I believe this is from the film Kid Galahad. I don't know this song, I have not seen this film, and I have not seen this performance, so this is all true and pure, fresh, first-time watch reactions. Before I get into this, though, quick reminder that I do pause these videos, I do talk over them, that is just how I react. Apologies in advance if that is not to your taste, but it is what it is. Also, a quick reminder that I do appreciate feedback at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com, or alternatively, you can just leave comments here directly on this channel. Also a reminder to check out the Rewatch Project of Hannah and Mike, the podcast that shares this feed, where my wife Hannah and I go back and rewatch some of our favourite film and television franchises, in addition to the other film, TV, music and general pop culture related goodness that also shares this channel. We also very much appreciate donations via PayPal if you can do so without causing yourself any financial hardship. But yeah, Elvis, let's get straight into it. I haven't watched a movie one for a while. So Home Is Where the Heart Is, early 60s. Got a very earnest looking Elvis here on the screen. Looks like a colour movie. No idea what to expect from this. A couple of people have suggested it, so asking you shall receive. Let's watch this and see what it is all about. Elvis time, baby. Let's go. Let's go. A couple of ladies on the go.
Home is where the heart is.
Sorry. There's not a woman alive that could resist this man. I mean, even before he started singing, I mean, it's just... he does just feel like he just appeared out of the ether, doesn't he? This is before we saw in almost pornographic detail how pop stars were created, you know, in this era of YouTube and talent shows and carpool karaoke and... You know, this clamour for attention, it really has stripped away a lot of the otherworldly, superheroic, aspirational specialness of pop stars, you know, that we saw in, you know, the 30s, 40s and 50s, and really right through to the 80s, you know, with people like Madonna and Prince and Michael Jackson, you know, where you didn't feel like these were people who were put together by a focus group. It didn't feel like these were people who were media trained, and that they were unique. There was nobody else like them. It felt like not that they were better than us, you know, and Elvis particularly is somebody who would never promote that kind of thinking, you know, this kind of humble gentleman. But this idea that they were aspirational, they were part of a dream. You know, a dream in both senses of the word, a dream in the aspirational wish fulfillment sense, but also a dream in the non-reality sense. And when you see Elvis start singing here, what you see is that absolutely personified in one person. You see somebody who you couldn't make him up. And you can see why he'd be like a bolt of lightning. But yeah, I'm going to go back a little bit here. This is great. I love the twangy kind of country-ish cowboy guitar, and as soon as he comes in, it's that early era Elvis where there's that very soulful, tremulous, dreamy. I'm going to keep coming back to this because we were coming out of the era of doo-wop as well, where there was this feeling that a lot of romantic pop music did just make you feel like you were floating on clouds into this world of fantasy and escape and possibility, you know. Let's go back.
Home is where the heart is.
Such delicate enunciation.
Is anywhere you are, anywhere you are, is home. I don't need a mansion on a hill that overlooks the sea. Anywhere you're with me is home. Maybe I'm a rolling stone who won't amount to much, but everything that I hold dear is close enough to touch.
And he's not even having to do that much. You know, his charisma is so just apparent and startling and unprecedented that he's not even really having to do anything. I mean, people talk about Elvis's movies not being very good. And I don't know, this is an early one, so maybe this is one of the better ones. I don't know, before they got too cookie cutter. I've never seen it. I've still not seen it, a single Elvis movie all the way through that I know of. But they didn't need to be good, really. They just needed to have him there. And I think that in this era and before, that escapism element of films really can't be understated. And you see it in films of the era slightly later, like James Bond, where, you know, there was a travelogue element to those films. You would go to the cinema so you could watch Bond in the Bahamas or in Venice, because nobody could afford to go there in 1965. You know, there was no affordable budget airlines. You would have to go to the cinema to see it. And I feel like with some of the Elvis films, that's what you were getting. He wasn't touring, you know. And even eventually when he would, he never really played outside of America. So the only way you could experience Elvis visually outside of the TV performances was to go to the cinema. And they knew they had that. You know, Colonel Tom, Elvis himself, the movie studio, they knew that they had this commodity that people wanted to experience. And they didn't care whether Elvis was driving race cars or corralling horses or, you know, wrestling. Or I don't know what he does in his movies. I haven't seen any of them. But it doesn't matter, because you've got Elvis, you've got him singing to beautiful women, and that's enough. And that really is a testimony to the power of his charisma, that worked for a long time.
For home is where the heart is, and my heart is anywhere you are, anywhere you are.
Expressiveness of that face.
He's home. Maybe I'm a rolling stone who won't amount to much, but everything that I hold dear is close enough to touch. For home is where the heart is, and my heart is anywhere you are, anywhere you are. Is home, 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 home.
And the fact that, you know, when he's singing to that woman who, you know, she's completely passive throughout the entire scene, she's just experiencing this moment. And, you know, you have that non-reality, don't you, in musicals. It's a little bit like soliloquies in Shakespeare, where it's like the world stops and characters express their feelings to the audience through song, in the same way that actors express their inner life through soliloquy in theatre. But of course, the women in the audience were her. You know, she's an avatar for the audience. So that means that Elvis is singing to the audience, to you. And I think that singular connection, that personal connection that people felt with Elvis and feel with pop stars, is a really potent thing. But it's also a shared thing. There's real complexity to that, this idea of a direct line to somebody, but knowing and kind of enjoying the fact that you share that with people. But the idea of using films as a delivery mechanism for that, I mean, the Beatles understood that a few years later with A Hard Day's Night. It's great that now that we have all of this, because the films do seem to be a great vehicle for Elvis's charisma. And it's a shame the films weren't better, but we've got performances like this, which are wonderful, and songs like that are beautiful, that I've never heard before. and there's many more of them. And I'm really stoked about that. So tell me which ones I should cover next. I'm really looking forward to getting onto that. And it's great to be back now that work has settled down a little bit to continue my Elvis voyage. So I'll see you out there on the comments page. Quick reminder, donations appreciated through PayPal. Both my microphone and my webcam are essentially held together with tape at the moment. So it would really help me to have uninterrupted service if you could throw a few dollars my way, if and only if you can do so without causing yourself any financial hardship. But I'll be back very soon with more Elvis, more film, more TV, more music, more general pop culture related goodness very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.